Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Lodgify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Best day of the week.
Everybody?
Great to see you too, as always. How was the weekend?
It was good. Survived another bachelorette party. So lived
You're
to
too
live
popular,
to,
Brandy.
I
You have
know.
too many friends.
Yeah, but all fun. I did get my first experience of getting yelled at by a neighbor for being at an Airbnb.
Oh.
And we were told that we were not welcome in their tight-knit community. And we were like, well, we're still going to keep having this barbecue outside and then we'll go inside. But it was, yeah, pretty. I was like, oh, it's interesting being on that side of things.
What city was that?
It was outside of DC, right over in West Virginia. And we were the first guests at this house. So you can tell that this little neighborhood is like furious about it. But we were in we had a hibachi outside and we were all wearing like ridiculous hats. And she came over like ready to rage. And then after she finishes yelling at us, I think realizes that like it's just like silliness. And like it was just she tried to like backtrack a little bit, but it was really uncomfortable.
Some people's kids just never, once they grow up, they never change, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they lost some fun.
I don't think any of us would want to live next door to a
Oh,
church.
absolutely not. And we were definitely like the first group. And so we're going to receive like the ire from them. So, and the hosts who have like a bunch of homes were like, make as much noise as you want. Like it's super chill, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, a little disconnect there.
Yeah. Hey, whatever.
Nice. We've got a lot to talk about today. We are going to get to the Icons Airbnb announcement. Everyone's been chatting about it lately, so we figured we will too. But first, and I know Will did a pop-up episode on it last week, but a big congrats in order for Guesty and Rentals United. A nice big acquisition. Win. Yep. A good win. It makes total sense. I love Guesty's acquisitive approach to the industry and adding in market leaders in positions that will strengthen their business as well.
I mean, I'm excited about it. Getting more of those integrations. I'm pumped.
Over time. None of it's going to happen immediately.
You don't think it's going to happen this week?
Will, did it already happen last week?
But it's
sorry, what do you have? What did you say? I'm having technical difficulties on the live here, so my apologies.
No worries. Well, I'll let you guys know as things progress how that goes. But yeah, definitely fun seeing them going on a shopping spree and also just kind of adding proof to Michael, your prediction at the beginning of the year, I believe, about all these acquisitions and mergers and the general theme of consolidation that we've been talking about this year.
Yep.
100%. The bigger going to get bigger, as Michael said, quote, Michael Golden.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to be what happens in a merger acquisition position in an industry, which we're very much squarely in the middle of. So I doubt this is their first. I doubt this is their last one of the year, and it's certainly not going to be the only company active on acquisitions.
Yeah, Vera, during our time together, said that they are big believers at Guesty and consolidation of the industry, that the industry is too fragmented and too spread out. So she's going to be, I'm sure, pretty active in this space, or
we talked about it a touch before the show, but when you go to Vrbo, it's a conference for vendors where PMs show up. But as more and more acquisitions happen, that will consolidate the vendor landscape, hopefully.
I don't know. I would love your guys' opinions. I feel after going through that tech landscape report with Andrew Kitchell, it felt like it just is continuously outpacing what's needed. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, I think how there was this big kind of trend of all these companies that were starting up that were basically just like extensions for things like products that you could add to like Slack or Chrome, and they have this goal of being some sort of like unicorn, right? But they're really just like a nice add-on. And I think that is kind of what's happening on a much smaller scale in our industry. Like these really niche companies are starting to come out, and yes, they might be satisfying a need, but it's very small and probably not sustainable. So then those will kind of maybe get gobbled up and be part of a new PMS.
Yeah, like all the guidebooks. I was kind of giving Kitchell a bit of a hard time on that episode because it's like, look, I don't think we need another digital guidebook company in the industry. Oh man,
Yeah.
I hate my camera setup right now.
Anyways, there was a point in time that I went to 6, 7, 8 Vrmos in a row, and you could guarantee there's going to be 2 or 3 new digital locks companies, 2 or 3 new PMS companies that will be there for 1 year, but not there the next year. It's
100%.
like, it was just this never ending cycle of a PM built their own PMS. And now it's like, I'm going to scale it because it works for me. And it didn't scale, and it ended up not working for them. So
yeah,
it, go use a Guesty or another pro PMS that has, that is their core business.
100%. And I love Tanner's comment. I was just reading it. The bigger the big get, the easier it is for a TIE fighter to hit the exhaust port with a portion torpedo or proton torpedo. My bad. But Star Wars reference. Gotta love those. Super exciting stuff. But as we're getting ready to talk about some icons released through Airbnb's update, we have to mention one icon who's always been a part of the show for the last year. That's our partners at Sojo. What up? So speaking of icons and how amazing they are, Sojo does all the automated amenities for your short-term rental property. And if you have over, I think, 10 homes, actually, I'm not going to say that. If you have a lot of properties, then you get to make your brand the hero and work with Sojo to get your brand on these amenities and make sure that your guests know who they're staying with. That way, obviously, when they want to rebook, they book with you direct. So thanks for Sojo for partnering with us. And if you want to get 30 days free of their amenity kits, just go to getsojo.com/GMH. And outside of that, let's jump into the main topics. Airbnb released their summer update. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about this being a PR stunt, but I would love to know from your guys' perspective, first thing you thought of outside the announcement of all these updates. Did you guys think this was PR? Did you think there's actually something cool and worth like talking about? Obviously, I have my own opinions, but love your guys first.
Yeah, I think that, of course it's PR. Like, it's not PR. This is a great marketing advertising ploy, but it's more than that. Like, it's doing something incredibly creative and innovative to get the attention of people that might not normally be on the platform. Like this morning, scrolling through Instagram, they have Feed, who's a huge like reggaeton artist. Like that's one of the icon experiences that you can have going on his tour bus. All of that stuff, like it's going to grab people's attention who maybe aren't like as familiar with the platform. So, and as Brian said, like these icons aren't like, the goal of staying at these homes is not to like generate money via stays. It's about getting more people to the site, to the app, and then, building off of that.
It's about PR. So
it's
yes,
about PR.
It's a giant PR stunt. Does it segue into something bigger?
I wouldn't call it a stunt. It's not a stunt, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Well, it is a giant PR stunt. That That is what I will call it. My first thoughts were this is basically they're becoming a Cameo, but for real life experiences. So from that standpoint, I think it's really cool. They launched it with a limited 8 different
11.
experiences, I think 11. So obviously it's not ready for scale, which means it's not ready to actually drive any meaningful revenue. But I mean, I do like the Cameo in real life approach. I loved the Cameo app for a period of time, but there's only so many times somebody can just virtually send a 20-second selfie clip, and it'd be cool. But if you can layer in an actual experience for a day, for a week, for whatever, staying in these epic houses, experiencing these things with people, I love it. And Airbnb, Brian always wanted to be on the experiences side, and I think this plays better to their experiences. It's closer to their core market than what they were doing previously, which is more of a Viator competitor. So I hope this is one of the things they're going to scale. I don't know how big it can get because there's only so many celebrities that are willing to part with a day, a few days, a week of their time and hang out with just some random person that booked an experience on Airbnb. And Airbnb is pretty much subsidizing all of these for now. So they're actually running at a loss. There's no revenue. It's a marketing expense. It's a PR stunt.
So this is where I disagree on the word stunt. It's not a stunt. It was a very highly thought out and executed strategy, because not only, yes, they're not going to make any money on this, but it drove way more users of the app for the first time ever. So this was a very clever strategic acquisition of customers. But whether they booked the experience or not, they were at least on the app, spending time on the app, which goes into my other kind of thoughts and points in the sense of this is just the very, very beginning of many phases and releases that they're going to do in updates of the app itself and driving users and eyeballs to the app that may not already exist, or if they do exist, they haven't been on for a while, get them back on the app. So yeah, anyways, I'm not going to go on a big long ramble because I know Michael's just going to try to get me all riled up with the word stunt. But outside of that, yeah. God
Listen,
damn,
you got to
I hate
create
this
some
mother stupid camera. Sorry. I'm gonna go off for a while. I'll listen to you guys in the back of the behind the scenes.
No problem. I'm usually the ones with the technical difficulties in the Wi-Fi, so nice to pass that baton. But I think that the scalability of all of this that's where I think that there's a marketing strategy for this. I don't think scale is part of that. Maybe they're okay, we're going to have 30, 50 of these, but even if you take out celebrities, having an outrageous physical product like a home or a bus or whatever, those are very, I think, limited time things to maintain that level of I don't know, opulence and outrageousness would be incredibly expensive. So I think you're right. I think we'll see phases of this, and it is to drive more engagement to the app. But I guess, not to always lob criticism, but I am there's always these talks of the crazier and crazier things that are going to keep happening. And it's how crazy is it really going to get? I think that driving more engagement to the app is great. I kind of see it going as almost like Zillow, where people go and window shop for houses for fun and aren't really doing it. Maybe people will start going to Airbnb and window shopping for their vacations. But on the flip side of that, they can already do that on Instagram. So it's kind of how are they, if that's the plan to drive that away, is it going to be enough once you scroll through all of the houses that they offer? Is that enough to keep someone engaged on the app?
It will when they're a social media platform already.
So either Instagram is going to become a travel booking platform in OTA, or an OTA is going to become a travel inspiration social media page. Instagram is, I'm going to finger to the wind this, 50% travel inspiration. the entire platform is built around people taking pictures of them doing stuff in cool places and reels and all of that, right? So why is it a big leap to say that Airbnb can't just have that on their own platform, right?
Yeah, I think it's also, I mean, it's just like another app, and this might be totally my fatigue, but I think I mean, how many people are like in millennial age group right now use Facebook? Like the joke is that it's all for like boomers basically now, quote, right? But like that, like, so I think if you add other social media, if the expectation is that Airbnb is going to become a social media giant on its own app, that I would be very skeptical of.
Chesky thinks in decades, not in years.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well,
That's fair.
so my thinking is that everything is pushing towards user engagement. That's how all social media does well, right? Like the average time you spend on the app in the app per day is their metric that measures success. Because that drives most likely more revenue through ads, blah blah blah. They're able to do all those things. But with this, I think it's the perfect balance of where you're going to see. This isn't just social media where you're going to go look at like what your friends are doing in the sense of like, oh man, I'm so jealous that Brandy's in Barcelona right now, but more in the sense of, um, like, hey, I'm actually going to be doing this in real time, and not only like not doing this, but staying here in real time and posting that experience and getting the real life, not just the listing photos, but the like actual experience of what it's like to stay in this home, to stay in this city, to stay in this destination. And that's going to cause the inspiration piece, which you guys, mostly talked about last week, from the Expedia report, right? On like the inspiration moment. And then I think it's going to play into the inspiration that travelers are going to want. I want real inspiration, not just from my friends' like highly filtered and edited photos of their trips. Like this is going to be probably a lot different. And I think it's going to be like, Michael just said, it's Brian Chesky thinks in decades, not years. And the small little things like the profile changes and the group chat and the itinerary functionality, like these all are driving for people to connect and to also then be on the app. So I think it's going to be a very, very big play.
Agreed. And in an interview on Skift, I believe the Chesky had, this was basically the Icons was the first of a half dozen new things coming. Mm-hmm. And this technically wasn't a business. And he goes on to say, this was a gateway. So stay tuned. Got some more stuff later this year. Next May will be crazy. Beyond that gets crazier and crazier. So he's a hype king. They're an absolute PR machine, but they're basically saying that Icons is a teaser for things to come in the future. So
yeah, I don't know. The definitely like the hype machine, and I totally understand having to generate all this excitement, and that's like the whole point. But always teasing these crazy things that are happening in the future, like with all the AI. Like a year ago, it was all about how AI was going to revolutionize their app, and that not just Airbnb. This is a lot of companies, right, are talking about that. But then it takes time. Like maybe the technology isn't there yet. So maybe it totally will in 5 years. But in 1 year, I don't know. I haven't opened up any app and been like, oh my God, things have been like, my mind is totally blown by how you've inserted an AI chatbot. Like, I just like, I'm a little skeptical about like how crazy things really are. So
Randy, it's like you haven't even read our LinkedIn posts. What are you doing out here?
I've been
like
at a bachelorette party all weekend. Well,
well, you're going. Oh man, I have so many thoughts and comments, but I think for the sake of the episode timing, we should probably get ready to move on. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I could keep going down this road. But
let's go down this road for a few more minutes.
Okay, Brandon. So like the AI thing, I want to touch on this just because I do highly disagree that it's not going to be like some chatbot. I don't think Brian Chesky would spend $200 million on like a small AI feature. And I, did make note of this, or at least everyone kind of has seen from his comments to the Skift interview he did last year, mentioning the AI like was going to be revolutionary. And then there was no update in this recent one that had anything mentioning AI. And so of course people were like, well, what the heck, Brian? There's no AI and all this other stuff. I'm just gonna keep the camera off. And whatnot. That it was like, oh well, where's this big play? And it's not gonna be this small little chat type feature or functionality. Brian Chesky has been a huge mentor to Sam Altman, who's the CEO and founder of OpenAI. There's no way he would acquire $200 million company, or that's not even a real company. It was really just talent, without having some big rollout. And it's going to be a huge interface. I think it's going to be like when we think about social media and the way that Airbnb could go with this, it's not going to be the same feed for everybody. It's going to be so different and highly like curated based off of this stuff that I think they're just collecting so much data. And he mentions data quite a few times in that recent article that like there's so much data in there that it's going to be towards highly personalized inspirations and trips and all the other stuff. Like I think it's going to be something you won't even see as a product. You'll just be working in the background as infrastructure.
Yeah. So I definitely don't think that he bought a company for a chatbot. I think that my my point is that I'm excited about all of the possibilities of this technology, but I don't get like riled up by the hype because it's going to take time for it to come to fruition, right? To build the kind of interface or the technology that you're talking about is going to take some time. So I just like when I hear not just Brian Chesky, but kind of like anyone talking about like how wild and crazy stuff is going to be, I'm like, okay, like when you have a product that is not just theoretical, that is ready to be like deployed at scale and is actually going, like, that's when I will be excited about it.
That's fair. I mean, it's similar to this icons piece. If it can become a cameo in real life, I think that's an incredible experience, and I think that will be talked about and highly used. And there's a lot of celebrities that do actually like and want to connect with their fans, and this could be a conduit to do so. There's also a lot of celebrities that probably want nothing to do with any fans and want to stay as far away as possible, and they won't be tied in with any of this. But yeah, I think as Brian said, I don't have to think anything. He said it. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So I guess we will be tracking this story for at least another year to come. Next May is the big unveil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, then, kind of in other OTA news, this isn't as big as Icons, but there was a lot of activity from. We had earnings calls last week with Expedia, but one kind of update from Vrbo that got people a little riled up is the cancellation policy and possibility of listing suspension if there are host-initiated cancellations. And there's not really too much to go into like a lot of detail on this, but it's kind of like what's the play behind this? Like it's creating a lot of tension, I think, with the PMs, and just kind of seeing what the benefit of that versus potentially taking the time that they use to create that policy and implementing other policies that make the whole system move a bit easier. So just kind of questioning the thought process behind that. Like, what problem is the problem so big that was necessary? Oh, Michael, you're on mute.
It does feel like to me a bit more punitive than it needs to be. I think the fining of the host already is pretty punitive, and then to fine them and then kick them off is, in my opinion, excessive. And I kind of highly doubt they will enforce it unless it's a repeat offender or gives them an excuse to kick off bad actors that they've been wanting to kick off and haven't really necessarily had a legal
mechanism
standing to do so. Yep. So I think from that standpoint, historically, Vrbo's been all about trust, particularly with the host side. This, I hope, is more of an effect of maintaining that trust with the traveler and the host as well, and kicking off the bad actors than it is to be punitive to any and all hosts that, cancellations happen, right? There's maintenance, there's the house sells, there's whatever last minute things that happen. So to punish and then financially and then kick people off the platform, even if it is for a period of time, 5-7 days, does seem a bit punitive, a bit excessive to me, but I may be optimistic that they either won't actually do that, or it is only for the repeat offender bad actors that nobody wants on the platform and nobody wants to be associated with.
Yeah. I think that in this, over the last couple years, we've just had these little policies or actions done by like all the OTAs that have kind of stacked on top of each other that I think just great on property managers of like, this is just like another thing that, like, having to create all your SOPs for all the different channels because every little thing has to be handled differently. And so, like, while you're right, it might not actually be as sweeping of a problem or it's only affecting bad actors, you still have to think about it. And it's another, I don't know, another cog in an already kind of unwieldy machine that we're all trying to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a last minute addition to the show, I got an email while we're on this from Delta about booking vacations through them. It's powered by Expedia, but I can now use my Delta points to book vacation rentals, which is white labeled through Expedia. So,
oh, that's nice.
I don't know if that's been around for a long time. I feel like I would have seen it. I've never seen that before, but it's really nice to be able to burn some of those points with stays. So, nice little partnership.
Yeah, I hope American jumps on that train. I'd love to be a Delta brat, but that is not my hub. So, but yeah, I think we're continuing to see that all the credit cards are jumping on to being able to book vacation rentals. It's like anyone that's not doing it right now is probably in development to have that program become available.
Well, not only that, but there's so many loyalty programs that have such insane, basically, points banked up that they have to find ways to get people to burn those points.
Yeah.
Because it's not helping anybody to have people like me sitting on loads and loads of points. But I like it. If that's new, great. If it's not, I don't know why you guys haven't been talking about it, Delta and Expedia, but if it's new and just released, then you should also talk about it. So I like it. And hopefully that benefits everybody in the vacation rental space that's listed through Expedia and Vrbo.
Yeah, I think any of these new channels that are bringing, guests that otherwise might not think to book, or, it's any way we can get that exposure is super helpful. So love that.
Awesome.
Well, I know. Any other final thoughts, Will?
No, not at all. Great episode, you two.
I'm excited to see where all of the I like when Airbnb does something kind of feisty like this icons thing, because it's innovative. I think things can get kind of stale. I mean, not that mergers and acquisitions aren't super exciting, but this is colorful and fun and outlandish, and I don't think we see like any sort of marketing initiatives that are that inventive in our industry very often. So
yeah, it helps us look past a 3 or 6 month horizon as well, because no matter what they end up building out, this isn't the end state unless it is, and then it's simply a PR stunt, right, Will? But I doubt this is the end state. I do think there's going to be a lot more behind this, and we will be here to share the news and our comments with it.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody, you know the rules. Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you all again next week.
Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Logify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.